Neil.
Hi guys, good morning to everyone. How are you doing today? Good morning. As you can see, my name is Neil Patel, always has been. I come from Chikri Yoga. I'm a company that's, well, I'm not a company, I'm a person, but I run a company that has been teaching yoga for about 20 years. What you know about yoga is probably just stretching and trying to put your head behind your leg behind your head and all that, and that's what we'll be doing in about 5 minutes from now. So if you want to start limbering up, then we can begin. Yoga is not just about doing that kind of stuff, it's a lot about mind control, okay? And that's why they've got me here today, to talk about your minds. And to give you an example of how the mind can have power over the body. Death is something that's going to happen to all of us, but at 27 I was told that I would die in a year. Okay, I am now 39. Okay, so some of you have heard the word cancer before, right? And I'm sure you've had an experience with other people in your family, and it's a very difficult time, as I'm sure you can all appreciate. But if you were given a death sentence tomorrow, God forbid, for all of you, you have a choice, okay? Because it doesn't mean you've been hit by a train, it means there could be impending doom, could be. Okay, and what your doctor will tell you 99% of the time is you've got 2 to 5 years to live. You take the chemotherapy, some chances you'll be doing good, some you may not make it, and in a way they kind of prepare you for what they consider to be the inevitable in a lot of cases, which you can't argue with. But just for a second, I just want you to think for a second into the mind of a cancer patient. And if you were given that sentence right now, would you collapse? Or do you think there's going to be a spirit of fight inside you? Some of you might think maybe 25%, maybe I'd give it a go, maybe I wouldn't really believe it. Some of you will be like, I would take on the challenge. So just for a second, just think in your head, what would you do? Who thinks they're going to just fight it? Put your hand up if you think you're going to go for it. Put your hand halfway up if you're not really sure just yet. Good, none of you. And put your hand down if you think you're just going to give up. Hands up, everyone. Right? What did I do? Can I tell you something? I took it like a championship boxer. Okay? When I was told that I've got a year left to live, it was the best day of my life. Do you know why? Shall I tell you why? Because it gave me a chance to fight all the demons inside myself, all the battles I've had in my life so far, and a chance to prove myself. I took the challenge on, I took the change on, I said, I'm going to make this what I want to make it. So I turned to the doctor and I said, I'm not coming into hospital for chemotherapy, I'm not taking surgery, and I'm not going to take any drugs or any radiotherapy at all. Instead, I'm going to fight this with my mind. He told me, you're absolutely crazy. I will see you in a year's time and you're going to be all over the place, your hair is going to be on the floor, your leg's going to be cut off. My tumor was in my leg, it was 24 centimeters big. They wanted to amputate my left leg. Okay, to take the tumor, it's a sarcoma, muscle tumor. So I said, no, that's not going to happen to me. I'm going to take this change and change it. And what did I do you think, to change the cancer? I believe in a simple system that we learn in yoga, and that is that you have a mind, okay, and the mind controls the central nervous system. Well, tell me if I'm wrong here, right? Your mind controls your central nervous system, and your central nervous system controls your what? Functions, cells, body, everything. Now, wouldn't logic tell you that if you apply your mind in the correct way, you can have an influence on your body? Is that just logical? Right? Is there anything in between that can stop that? If I want to move my arm, first I have to make a decision to move my arm, then I have to put the energy into my nervous system, and then my arm can move. There's a connection. So I thought, I'm going to use that connection. I'm going to tell my body that I'm not going to die. I'm going to tell my body not to respond to the cancer in the normal way, but it's just like a cold or a cough. You know what happened? The cancer stopped spreading immediately. Okay, we'll fast forward a bit, it's 12 years on, right? This is a highly aggressive grade 3 cancer. That's normal pathway is body, lungs, brain, death. Okay, this is pleomorphic rhabdomyosarcoma. I can write it down for you, you can check it out later. That's its pathway, that's what it does. Okay, 12 years later, I'm here, fit as a fiddle, right? No problems at all in my body. Immune system of an ox. They're now doing genetic studies on me in hospital. They're doing immunological studies on me because they've never seen the body automatically respond to cancer cells. There's nothing else, it's just automatically responded. The white blood cells have gone in and said, right, you're a cancer cell, well, I'm a white blood cell, what are you going to do? And they've had this attitude and they've adapted. There's something else I'll tell you about. I'll give you a lot of information in the beginning just to tell you what your mind can do. Have you heard of genetics? the genes, right? So at the moment, the whole, the trendy theory is your genes are everything, and your DNA is everything. That what you are as a DNA and gene being is what all you're ever going to be. And if your mother had breast cancer and you have a good chance of having breast cancer, that's the way they tell you, and you kind of believe into it that there's nothing, you can't change anything, okay? But I'll tell you something. This is a new science that's coming out by a doctor called Bruce Lipton in America, and he's an MD, and it's called epigenetics, okay? And there's two words here. Genetics, you know, but epi means above. So there's a science now called epigenetics, which means that you have the power to control your genes. You have the power to change your DNA, right? There's something in your genes, which I won't go into too much science, but it's called a genetic engineering gene. And it sits beside all your genes, and it changes your genes according to what you're thinking. So if you think that the cancer is going to come to you, it will unwrap the DNA for cancer. If you don't think the cancer is going to come to you, it will close the DNA for cancer, and it can't build a cancer protein. This is scientific studies now that they've found. It basically says that the cell has got a membrane. You know the membrane? And the membrane of the cell, which is on the outside, works exactly like the human brain. It takes information in. And then inside every cell, if those of you who done biology, you know that cells are organisms just like human beings. They have digestive system, respiration system, they breathe, they do everything that a normal being does. So the cell does what the membrane is instructing it. And the membrane is getting a signal from your brain. So if your brain tells the cell, I'm not going to die of cancer, or I can deal with this, suddenly the cancer doesn't open up anymore. That's why when you watch cancer patients, this is really interesting, whether they do chemo or alternative, you notice the ones that succeed are the ones who have an attitude that they're going to succeed. They have the willpower. And I'm not just talking here, just on the surface saying, yeah, I'm fighting, but inside they're breaking down. I'm talking about really have the guts. They're the ones who manage to get through, luckily for them, yeah, fortunately for them. And the ones who give up internally are the ones that break down. What you need to have is an attitude like that. None of you will ever have cancer, I pray and I hope that will never happen to you. But you might as well set yourself up now that any changes that happen in your life, physical, mental, that you're going to go in like a boxer and you're going to knock it out, and you're going to instruct your body, your mind, and everything in your life that you're going to go ahead and you're going to beat it. Now, if I can do that with cancer, and this is I'm living proof. They call me the miracle man at the Royal National in Stanmore on the Great Portland Street. The professor, Dr. Briggs, you can speak to him. I walk into his office and he says to all the nurses, everyone come and sit down, meet Neil Patel. This is the miracle man. He should have been he should have been dead 11 years ago. He's still with us today. And the only thing I've done is I've used my mind over matter. Okay? So now if I can do that, you can handle everything in your life, right? Now, we come onto the subject of decisions, for example, right? I had a decision at that moment, okay? Life can rock you. You can lose your house, you can lose your health, you can lose your partner, you can lose everything. And you can think that now this condition has changed, I'm going to go downhill. But you have a decision to make. Did you know there's no such thing as a right decision? Have you realized that there are decisions you've made which are right that have turned out wrong, and decisions you've made that are wrong that have turned out right? Have you noticed that in your life? We're not here to make right decisions. We're here to make decisions and make them right. Make them the best you can. You can't, otherwise what you do is you procrastinate and you just sit at steps and go, maybe I should do that, and maybe I should do that, and maybe I should talk it over with my wife, and maybe I should, and you're just asking people to talk you out of decisions. You're just too afraid to go forward. But sometimes life throws a decision at you and you've got to say, right, I'm going to make this the best that I can do. I don't know why it happened, but I'm going to make the best of it. So, first thing you're going to learn today, there's no such thing as a right decision. Decisions are going to happen for you, but you keep making them and you keep taking steps forward. Anyone got any questions on that at this point? About the cancer thing? How it happened? Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Two questions.
Yeah.
One, are you going to live forever?
Yeah.
And can you tell me 6 numbers between 1 and 49 now?
6 numbers between 1 and 49?
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? Try it. But I will tell you this, am I going to live forever? I base everything that I live on passion and purpose and happiness. Okay? So as long as I have a purpose in my life, As long as I'm happy and as long as I'm passionate, I think I'll live until the day that I stop being like that. You know that there's a weird expression that came up through the course of my studies of cancer and psychology, right? And that was this, and it's almost cruel to say, but I think it's somewhere it makes sense, and that cancer is a socially acceptable form of suicide. That sounds really dark. But when I looked into the mindset of some cancer patients, quite a lot, it was that they were down inside. They weren't happy about something in their life. They weren't enthused about life anymore. They didn't have that passion anymore. Okay? And I spoke to them and I saw, and the first thing I deal with cancer patients, I ask them, what are you passionate about? What's your purpose in life? What are you living for? What are you going to do in 10 years' time? What do you want to do in 15 years' time? And I build up their mental psyche so they're positive about the future. So what I'm saying to you is always, every moment in your life, be really positive and have goals ahead of you. That will make you strive forward. Otherwise, your life energy will start to dwindle. You won't have that power. If you're feeling sick, you've got a headache and you're at home, and someone that you like, let's say you're single and a girl that you like or a guy that you like rings you, but you had a headache, and it's that person, you're, oh yeah, I'm fine, I'll be there in half an hour, I'm there. Suddenly the headache is gone, the fatigue is gone. Right? You've had that experience before, right? This is the power of the mind. And if it can happen in that little situation, then think about it. If you're constantly positive and constantly enthused about what you're doing the next minute and the next hour, your energy, your vibrancy in your body is going to be amazing. You'll electrify any illness or any disease that you come across. And I'm living proof of that. So what I'm saying to you is keep that enthusiasm up. Go on.
I guess it's, you know, with everything that goes on with something like cancer and I guess, you know, the sort of expectations of the inevitability.
Yeah.
What was it that was that switch for you? What gave you such confidence that that was the right thing to do for you?
You know, it's coming back to that thing. I didn't know what was right, yeah, but I made a decision which was mine. Okay, that was the first step. It's a psychological thing of being in control of your life. The doctors are saying do this, that, and the other. History says do this, but I grabbed hold of it and I said, this is my decision. I don't know if it's right, but when you make a decision, you say this is my decision. Your pride will make you do it. Do you know what I'm saying? It might be an egotistical thing. You say, this is my decision. It's my life. I'm going to make it right. I've got everyone against me. You create that kind of siege mentality in your head, and you go for it. But there's more to it than that. And that is that my belief in what is called a soul. Okay, so I don't know, that word to some of you might seem a little bit airy-fairy and a bit yogified, the word soul. But I believe there's a power inside all of us that we don't tap. Okay? And if you tap that power, it's more powerful than your cells. Okay, a spirit, if you like. And I really, really, really believe in my spirit. I really believe that anything physical that comes up to me, I can attack with my soul force. Who's heard of Bruce Lee? Okay, little man, yeah. He was tiny. He had a waist 26. All right, he was short, and he was one of the most powerful people we ever saw on this planet. And what he attributed that to, do you know what it was? The word was chi, life force. And he could knock out someone twice his size and twice his height just by believing he could do it and sending his life force into his body. You see people like that all over the world. They have that powerful energy. They believe in their soul. So when I got that diagnosis, I said, you know what? My soul is more powerful than my cells. My soul is more powerful than my cells. And if I put my mind to it, I can overcome these cancers. So they're only cells. And anyway, they're in my body. What gave them the right? Cells in my body. I have a mind. I have a mind that can do anything that only biological cells. And like I'm saying in life, it's only little decisions that go wrong. It's things that happen to you. You get broke, you lose your partner, like I said, but they're only little details. What's the bigger picture? The bigger picture is you are this powerful being who can make right of anything that happens. And that's the steamroller kind of attitude that I'm trying to show you. To just steamroll it through. Just find the next big thing that you're going to work on and change. I say it like this as well. If you see, this is